Weird Realities explores the paranormal, preternatural, and supernatural worlds that surround us. Here we delve into those topics that challenge us to think outside the limitations of realism, where we test the boundaries of imagination and are forced to think outside the confines and restrictions of what is normal. We are the creators, the writers, the artists, and the insane. Welcome to our Weird Realities.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Tuesday night. This is pre-recorded, so technically we're recording it Monday afternoon. Welcome to our Real Talk with me and Jennifer. Jennifer was unable to be with us today because of time concerns, but she will be joining us next week. We're going to miss her. If I sound weird, it's because I've picked up the cold that's been rampaging through my family like a zombie virus. But today we have an extremely special guest, David Simpson, author of the Zombie Road. So what is it, 10 books now?
8 main books and a couple of spin-offs.
Okay. Yeah, it's a phenomenal series. It's one of my favorite zombie books. If you like massive zombie kills, great plots, great characters, you got to read this book. But one of the reasons we've got David on is because David is trying to transform the book series into both a TV series and a video game. So, David, please introduce yourself and start by telling us how you came up with the whole concept for Zombie Road.
Man, Zombie Road came about because I used to be a truck driver, and I don't know. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. Probably every zombie book out there, it's on audio. I probably listened to it, back when I was trucking, and I just thought, the truckers could do it different because we don't go to Walmart to get a can of beans. We go to the Walmart warehouse to get, a pallet of beans kind of thing, because we know where all the stuff is at and we know how to get it, just truckers in general. And I don't know, that was the concept. It's like, man, what if the zombie apocalypse happened and everybody wasn't killing everybody over supplies, and we would just work on rebuilding society. So that was my angle, just tear society down with a zombie apocalypse and then rebuild. Kind of most of the books are about rebuilding.
Yeah, you have I can't remember the name of the city. You did a great job with setting up around that little town right near the rail line, putting all of the huge container boxes around, stacking them like 2 or 3 deep, 2 or 3 high. I mean, I was saying to David earlier, my favorite book, I don't remember which one it is when they use the freight train to start killing zombies. But it is
that got real bloody real fast.
Yes. And it got real fun real fast. I was like, okay, I'm not going to put this book down. I'm going to continue reading until I see what happens. So, David, how did you look to find somebody to turn your book into a TV series, or did somebody reach out to you?
No, it was a great idea. I thought it was a fantastic idea at all. Everybody wants their work made into the big screen or the small screen, but the way it happens, man, is I got a lot of really good reviews, and reviews are so important. I asked the guy that contacted me, he's my producer now, because we signed the contract and everything. But I asked him, I said, how'd you pick me out of all this? There's 1,000 zombie books out there, 10,000 probably. How'd you pick mine? And he goes, well, you had good covers. They caught our eye. You had a lot of reviews and your sales were good. But the main thing they looked at was the reviews. So, man, when us indie writers say, please leave a review, it's really important to us. It really is. That's how Hollywood found me, was through all these reviews. And it was on Goodreads, and it was well received over there. And a couple other spots. It got picked up on different lists of top 10 zombie books, and things like that. And that's what they're looking for. They're always looking for something they can turn into the next big thing. The next, Walking Dead was a comic book. Last of Us was a video game. They're always looking for something new and original, and has a spin on it. And honestly, the biggest thing I believe is what they told me was the reviews, the number of reviews, and the good reviews, blah blah blah, and that's what got their attention.
How many reviews do you have on Zombie Road?
To me, it doesn't seem like a whole lot. There's, I don't know, 1,000, couple thousand, maybe the whole series.
Oh, that's a lot.
I don't know. I haven't looked, but it's over 1,000.
And who reached
also,
out to you?
I'm sure my producer did. He just contacted me directly and asked me if I might be interested. And I'm sure also that because I was an indie, that influenced it too, because they may or may not go through a traditionally published writer, because he's got, agents and a big publishing house, and there's a lot of people you got to go through to make things happen. With an indie, I didn't have an agent. I don't have anybody. It's just me, And they sent me an option, and I took it to a lawyer. Holy cow! I mean, it's important to do that. I mean, if you ever get this chance to get an option or anything, take it to a lawyer, because it's Hollywood. They weren't trying to rip me off. It wasn't like that. It just, the lawyer made it better for me. And I sent it back to them, and, they tried to get financing and try to get it made. And I think for them, it was easy because it was just me to deal with, not a whole team of lawyers and, publicists and agents and, just like a traditional publisher would have or a traditional writer would have.
And was it going to be turned into a movie or a series?
They wanted to do a TV series because the world is the Zombie Road world is so big. If you made a movie, it'd just be another zombie movie. They were trying to do a TV series, and they hired some script writers to make it, into a TV series, an hour-long TV series. And they wrote the pilot, and we shot some video, and what else? They call it a Bible. It's the first 10 episodes of the first season. They wrote those, and they wrote the pilot. Then we were trying to get some talent attached to it. And they were trying to get Thomas Jane to play the main character. I don't know how far that went, but they never could get financing. So that's why they decided to do a video game instead, to kind of build up the hype and then try again.
Excuse me. Now, who was that you said they were trying to get? Was that Carl from The Walking Dead, the actor you mentioned?
Oh, no. We were going to try to get Thomas Jane to play my main character. He's the dude that played Punisher, and
okay.
I guess he's an older fellow. He's in his 40s.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know whatever happened with that. They said it's hard to get finance. It's hard to get your books made into something, because they say it takes 3 things to happen all at once. You got to have talent attached to it. You got to have financing, and you got to have good scripts and, interest from one of the big studios. And just when we were pitching it at the time, this was a couple of years ago, they were like, zombies are on the way out. Walking Dead is over. The other Walking Dead shows aren't doing all that great. And there's a glut of zombie shows and movies out there. We don't want any more. So they said, no more zombies.
Well, hopefully the genre will start to rise from the dead again. They'll pick it up. Now, I got a couple of questions for you. I'm not going to ask who the studio was of that, but did you want to have any involvement in writing the scripts? And if so, were they willing to let you?
I did, and they would not. Script writing for a television series is a very, I'm a writer. I can write an action scene, but for television, if you ever break down a television show when you're watching it, a good one, you see they call it the beats. It has these beats, and you got to have these beats for it all has to tie together, and it has to end. It has to be each episode has to be exciting and have basically an episode is a whole book. It's something has to happen that's really exciting and keep people interested. Then you build on the characters. I forget the term for that. It's anyway. I didn't have the skills to do that, and they hired a team that did. And I mean, the first episode was pretty freaking exciting, and it went from introduction of the characters and some background, and then action scenes left and right, and then more. I mean, just you got to hit all these beats, and it's a talent that I didn't have. So no, I didn't get to write the script. They paid these guys a lot of money to write these scripts. I'm like, damn, I wanted a piece of that.
Did you have any input? I mean, like, if they decided to change a character or do anything like that, did you have any say, oh, you can't do that? Or was it just pretty much they gave you the money, shut up and let us do what we want?
I have a really good producer, and he wants to keep the books intact. He doesn't want to make it just another typical zombie show. And the books are kind of unique. That's what kind of drew him to them. And I did have input, although in the end, I did sign away the rights to it. I couldn't say, no, you can't do that. And if they wanted to do that, by God, they're going to do it because it's Hollywood. As a writer, you don't have a whole lot invested. I mean, money-wise, you got your time. But Hollywood they were talking $1 million per episode to do this. That's a lot of money. And they didn't want it to be wasted on a bad show. So they're going to do what they have to do to make the shows successful because they got a lot of money involved.
So now, 2 questions. Did you get into the contract? Were you going to do a guest appearance in the show?
Yeah, actually I was. Yeah. I was,
Okay.
I had executive producer rights, and I had 3, my lawyer got these involved or got these included in the contract. He said, you need these. These are very important. Not now, they're not. They don't pay you anything, but they're very important down the line. So I was going to be an executive producer. 3 different things they said got to be included in the credits on every episode. So in the end, that's why you have a lawyer. They know things that I don't, Yeah.
Now, did you sign over like the merchandising rights or just the TV series rights?
Just the TV, just the video production of Zombie Road. I retained all the rights for merchandising.
Good.
And that would be what they call revisited later at a later date. So they would get a piece of that too if they wanted it. And with the video game, we are trying to do merchandising, and I have a contract where I get a percentage of, they get a percentage, I get a percentage kind of thing. But that was a new contract though for the merchandising stuff.
Before we jump into the video game, what was your feelings when they reached out to you and said, we want to turn this into a TV series?
Dude, I was stoked. I was excited. I asked a couple of fellows that's had their work optioned, talked to them about it. Mark Tufo, he gave me some good advice. He's been optioned. And they told me what to watch out for. And, the biggest thing they said, if you have to pay them money, it's a scam. It's like vanity press. You don't pay somebody to get your book published. If you are, it's a scam. And he says, if they ask you for money for anything, it's a scam. They pay you, you don't pay them, which was good advice, but I wasn't gonna pay them anyway, but it kind of, you know what I mean? It's like a vanity press. There's a lot of people out there that will try to get you to, well, you have to do fundraising and we'll get this money and you do this and you do that. And this was a straight up legit outfit. Thank goodness. Cause I could have been ripped off.
Now, the question all the writers are thinking, when you said, okay, here's my book, the screenwriters can do it. What was that? Was it like kicking your kid out of the house and sending them to college? Or I mean, did it scare you? Did it
Yeah,
bother you?
dude,
Were you like, where you're like, oh crap, what are they going to do to this?
yes. They did make some changes I didn't like. I raised a little bit of hell about it. They switched them back, but I told my agent, because he asked me about this. He goes, "Look, are you going to fight us on everything on this?" I said, "Man, I'm not married to it. The books, even if the movie isn't exactly like the books, which is fine, or the TV series, people will read the books and they'll get my vision of it. But I understand TV is different. You can't have, in the books, there might be an hour of reading where nothing really happens. You can't have that in a TV show. It just has to be." And they changed some characters and added a few, and to made it more, I don't know, homogenous and diverse. So, yeah.
Plus, I'm assuming they had to. Did they like combine some of the characters together, because you did have a lot of characters in the book?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Which was good. I mean, like I said, I read the first script, and it was pretty good. It was an exciting story. I was on the edge of my seat reading. I know what's going to happen, because the script writers are really good. So, and you compact. It's like, I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead. Finish up.
Well, it's like anything, man. A Stephen King book's, 700 pages long or something, and they compact it to 2 hours.
Yeah.
150 page script. And we're kind of doing the same thing with, moving things along faster in some areas and slowing them down in other. And, the whole character building, and some of the characters say, we don't have time to go 5 books building this character. We're just going to have her built, boom, right out of the box. She's a badass. She doesn't have a story arc. Just things like that.
Yeah, like the one of my favorite characters was the movie starlet who became a badass.
Yeah, that was like a 5 or 6 book journey. That was the hero. For me, it was like, your writers you have these beats you need to hit, and that was the hero's journey. This girl who was so terrified she was just frozen in fright, the first zombie she sees, to being one of the main team who just deals death left and right. But it took 5 books to get there, and they just said, we don't have time for that. She's going to be a badass out of the gate. It's okay. It's cool.
Now, just roughly, was it like each book was going to be one season?
That was the general idea, but I mean, it doesn't really work like that, because the first book covers 2 days or 3 days, and then just no. That was the idea, but it's like, nah, ain't gonna happen.
So when they put the TV series on hold, you said that you started looking into doing a video game. Give us some details about that if you
can. Okay, this is it's a process. This took a couple of years for all this to happen. They tried to get like a normal TV series, just like any other TV series out there, and they couldn't get the financing. And then they started looking into, I'm sure you've seen The Mandalorian, how that was filmed on an LED screen, this big, like a drive-in movie you stand in front of, and everything's in the background. It looks good. And they said, we can do it like that. There's a studio in Alabama. And they started looking into doing that, but you still need financing. And I believe the studio came up with it first to say, let's do some video games. We can do those since they already have the teams in place and everything. And they said, we can knock out a video game quickly and without, having much money involved. And they were talking, we could do, man, I don't know if I'm allowed to even give out these numbers or not, but I don't think anybody's watching this that's Hollywood. They were talking about, we said we can do a video game for $30,000, on a low end, just to put it all together. And we can do, and my agent or my producer jumps in. He goes, well, we don't want low end. We want high end. What's your high end? He goes, well, we can do it for about $300,000. He goes, that's what we're looking for. I mean, these people have the money for things like that. They just don't have the millions it takes to do a television show. So I'm rambling like I normally do, losing my train of thought. anyway, the company they contacted about making the LED movie or TV series told them about the video games and said, we could do this for little money. And they said, well, let's do that then. Let's get some video games going. The first one's going to be released in October, and we'll build some hype. Kind of like there's loads of video games that became, you know, television series or movies. Yeah. And that's what we're hoping will happen.
Yeah. So what type of video game? Is it going to be like a PlayStation, an Xbox, virtual reality?
Yes, sir. The first, I wrote the script. They actually let me write the script for the game. It follows the books very closely, as much as I can for a video game. And the original, the first we're going to do is it's going to be episodic. They're only going to be in the Megaverse, 4D virtual reality experience. I mean, these Megaverses they're all over America. I mean, there's not one in every tiny town, but they're in all the big cities. I think Dave & Buster's has them. A lot of bowling alleys, big bowling alleys and arcades have these Megaverse systems. And it's full on virtual reality, man. You get the headset on, you got these controllers in your hands. The wind blows. I mean, just the floors move. I mean, it's really, dude, I went down and played some games in Atlanta, and it is super immersive, man. You really get into it. It looks wild. And it's up to 6 players. And each game is about 10 minutes long, and they're going to make probably 6 video games. It all tells a story. The first one starts out at the truck stop, you know, just like the book does, and you got to try to escape with Gunny. And then the next one I haven't written yet, but it'll be a continuation of that. And basically it's going to be about 6 games, and then we're going to take those 6 games once they're finished and add a lot to them and beef them out and flesh them out with, you know, backgrounds and character development, and make a home game. If you have an Oculus, it'll be a virtual reality game. We haven't talked about Xbox or PlayStation, but right now they're just going to be on the Oculus virtual reality system. So that's where we stand right now.
And you said they're coming out in October?
The first one is, yes.
Okay, and so I get this straight. The only place you'll be able to play it in October will be at like a Dave & Buster's where they have the big virtual reality setups. And then eventually it'll move to Oculus. Well, I hope they make it for PlayStation. Because
I do too. That'd be awesome, man.
Yeah, because that's when I hit writer's block, I turn off the Word and I fire up the PlayStation. So how different was it writing the book and then writing the script for the video game?
Well, I wanted action because these things cost money, dude. I mean, you pay your $10 and you get 10 minutes. I mean, and I played I went down there and played a bunch of the virtual reality games, and I'm not knocking them. They're all awesome, you know, because this company, the same company is making my game, is making those games, and those games are really great. Go play them. But I'm an old dude, and I just couldn't get into it really easy. I mean, some of them had training levels where you had to learn how to use guns and shields and reload, and another game was you had a flashlight and you had to search for clues, you know, like an escape room kind of thing, and had these jump scares. And I'm like, if I'm paying $10 for 10 minutes to play a game, dude, I want action. I don't want to spend half of that game trying to figure out how to play it. So I wrote it so it's nonstop action from start to finish. Gunny is the main character in my books. He's going to be an avatar in there and kind of make sure you know what to do. Get that gun, shoot those guys. And then he kind of helps you so you follow the path and you don't stumble around. Well, where's the key to this door? You know, I don't have any of that. It's just zombie killing mayhem. And I asked him to do the truck stop. I said, I want everything destructible, everything. So you know how, I mean, a lot of video games where you can break things. I want to be shooting pop bottles and beer cans and potato chip bags and stuff exploding everywhere, and zombies jumping through the windows and breaking glass, you know, and just this, it's surround sound, and it's zombies. You look up, you look down, the wind's blowing, you know, it might feel like blood splatter on you. I just want this full immersion game that's just, you know, when you walk away, it's like, whoa, I want to play again kind of thing, not something halfway boring.
And you said it was 6 people virtual reality. So that's going to be fun. Now, what happens? Can you get killed before the end of the 10 minutes?
Some games you can, and my game you can't, because who wants to die? You want to be the
Right.
winner. It's up to one person can play it. I played some of these games, they're up to 6 people, but if you don't have a team with you can play by yourself. It just the AI or the whatever it is adapts it so you don't get overwhelmed. But up to 6 people can play, and yeah, in mine you got, if a zombie's attacking you or whatever, your screen might turn red, or it will turn red. But I don't want people to die and have to just stand there while everybody else gets to play.
Did they get any big names to do?
Dude, you're contagious. I'm sorry, man. Say again, Scott.
Did they get any big names to do Gunny's voice in the video game?
No, actually, I'm trying to get my the narrator for all the books. He does a great Gunny voice. I told him I want to use him, and I haven't got 100% on that yet, but we'll probably use him. Because he doesn't do a lot. He's just there to make sure he guides you to do the right thing, so you're not wandering around lost. You kill all the zombies. Okay, now what? Gunny is there to say, get inside the truck stop, Actually, you start out with hammers and, in the parking lot with hammers and crowbars and tire clubs and stuff. And then once you get inside the truck stop, Gunny gives you guns. Guns.
Oh,
so you get to kill everything.
Good. I'm sorry, that's my dog in the background whining. He's not getting attention. Are there any other plans to do anything else with the Zombie Road series? Graphic novels, anything like that?
Actually, there is. There's been a little bit of a debate back and forth about the graphic novels. Part of the team wants to go ahead and release them now. Let's do graphic novels. Let's get them started. And the other part is like, no, let's wait until we have, well, it was going to wait until we have the TV show going and then sell it in conjunction with that. And so there's right now nothing is happening on that because they're just like, no, we want to do it this way. And the other half of the team is like, no, we want to do it that way. And nobody's agreed on it. So right now it's just, it might happen. It might not. That's one thing, Scott, when you sell the rights, a lot of it is out of your hands, and they've kept me in the loop, and I've had it in the contract written that I am, I'm also part of the team. Every team they do, I'm part of it. So I could still have a little bit of input. It's like the video game. They sent me all this information, how they're doing everything. And they're going to send a headset with a game in it once it gets, so we can play it and go and work the bugs out. But anyway, they had the wrong trucks. These are programmers and gamers, and I don't want to call them nerds because but they're computer guys, right. And they had all the wrong kind of trucks. I'm like, no, you can't use these kind of trucks. These are European trucks. I'm like, oh, okay. So I am still involved a little bit with just things like that.
You must be excited about that.
I know, dude. This game's gonna be wild. I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully it'll, the home version will build enough hype and it'll sell enough copies that, maybe they'll look and say, maybe this will be a good, TV series. Like, hopefully, as good as Last of Us, not, just something that's a really good show. I don't know if you've seen that one or not.
I did watch it, and I didn't like it at the beginning until I was like on several pages and people were saying how it's not a zombie series. It's not a zombie game. It's a survival game. And that the TV show actually followed more like the video game than it does anything else. When I started looking at it from that perspective, I started to enjoy it a lot more. But unfortunately,
I just thought the production value.
No, go ahead.
The production values are really good.
Yeah, the production, the girl, I can't think of her name, but the teenage girl that he's transporting along. Oh my God, she is funny. I love her. So you were saying earlier that what got the attention was the book covers, and the fact that the books themselves are phenomenally good, and the reviews. So what advice would you give? Because part of this, the whole reason for this show is for like people like me, other writers who would like to expand their market. What do you suggest for them? Besides naturally
Man, it's
writing a damn book and getting a good cover.
yeah. The a lot of it's luck, I think, because I'm not any better writer than you or Tufo or anybody else. I wrote things differently. My hook, I guess, was the trucks. Trucks are cool, and I don't know. I just try to get reviews, and I did a lot of things that other writers don't do that a lot of writers probably can't do. I mean, I built a Zombie Road Mustang. I take it to conventions and I drive it everywhere. And dude, I am super promo, man. I carry cards with me, postcards and business cards. These shirts, I'm promoting this thing everywhere. If anybody even has any interest, dude, I had a business card in their hands. Hey man, buy my books, and blah, 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 and just, I went to a family reunion and sold books there this weekend, it's a fine line between, being obnoxious about it and just being excited about your work.
So you're pretty much saying just be out there, be very proactive, pimp yourself. Yeah, because I do roughly.
Exactly.
I like the idea of the shirt because I wear a sweatshirt that says, ask me about my book. And whenever people ask me about my book, I hand them the business card and tell them, look me up, if you like zombies, vampires, whatever. But that's the tough part for, I think, a lot of us is just the marketing aspect. Unless you had a really awesome social media manager, it's not easy.
No. I've given a class about guerrilla marketing, and guerrilla marketing, it's not big for big marketing. To me, it's not. It's to get one customer at a time. And there's a lot of things that I talk about in that class that I gave about just small things you can do. I mean, I steam cleaned my driveway, power washed it, but I didn't just power wash the dirt off. I power washed Zombie Road in a picture onto my driveway. Everybody that drives by my driveway saw this picture of a zombie chick and Zombie Road. Maybe they'll ask about it. Maybe they'll Google it. Maybe they'll look it up. Just little things like that. I think they all add up. Dude, I got QR codes I put on postcards. The front of the postcard is my book. The book cover, It's a cool cover. I go to, you can't do this in stores because it's illegal. But you can go to rest areas, truck stops, places like that have all those magazines with the coupons in them. Mm-hmm. If you're on the way to Florida, there's Disneyland coupons and oranges. But man, I just stuff those up. People are traveling. It's an audio book. Maybe they'll listen to it. Maybe they'll scan it and what's this all about? Pay their $10 and listen to an audio book. Just
I did not know you could do that. Marketing. Oh man,
you can't do it in Barnes and Nobles because that's magazine. It's they don't want your crap in their magazines, but right. At rest areas, people are looking for information. You can put your postcards in the racks where all the pamphlets are, for all the local tourist attractions. As a truck driver, I had an advantage over a lot of people because, dude, I'm in all 48 states. My postcards are in every truck stop from here to Timbuktu.
And I'm sure you also attracted a lot of readers who are fellow truck drivers. Because I know several
yes,
truck drivers who said that they get hooked on the books because they drive 8 to 10 hours a day and they got nothing to do but listen to Audible.
Exactly. That was my niche. I believe that's, just one of the reasons I may have had more success than others, just because I had more opportunity than others to do things like that, put those postcards out, and I'd hang up things. Dude, best place to put a postcard, hang it up on a piece of tape on the back of your bathroom stall, hang it up there on the back of the door. When they go to clean, they never look at the back of the door. And you got a captive audience right there when, you know,
Man, next time I take a long trip down to Virginia or Pennsylvania, I know what I'm doing. The course you were talking about, the
get the rest
the guerrilla marketing, is that like taught at a local college, or do you do that online?
No, I've done it at conventions. I'll be asked
Oh,
to, when you're a writer, they want you to do a board or a panel, and I'll do panels, but I also I'll give a class to anybody that's interested, and do a 30-minute
because
class. It's just nonstop.
oh, you and I got to talk. See if we can get you to do the class someday for us. Because I know myself, I know a lot of people would be interested in what you have to say.
Yeah, and dude, and everybody, I don't have all the ideas, man. Just, with the few ideas I have, there's 100 other writers that have at least one or two ideas each. And it's like, it'd be kind of cool to compile everything and to use everybody's ideas, not just mine, because some of mine are kind of dumb, but whatever.
Yeah, but if you make a sale, it's not dumb.
True. And if you can
Whatever
sell
works.
one book, if they like it, they'll buy the rest of them. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I use I do the postcards with the QR codes. And after every convention for the next week, I see a spike in my Kindle sales.
Right. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah. So are there any other non-writing options that are out there, like talking about action figures or something like that?
I wouldn't even know how to go about doing that. Uh, I mean, shoot. I'm like, again, this is some of the things I do that other people can't do because it's just my hobbies. My other hobby is racing cars, and dude, I'm doing a race this fall, and my name is going to be on the side of the car, and people are going to take pictures of it. And I'm not sure if I put Zombie Road on it or not, or I have a new series coming out. Maybe I'll pimp that one. But it's just little things like that, It's just like you get those magnetic stickers and put them on your car everywhere you go. I mean, I have them on my pickup truck, Zombie Road, Amazon.com. I don't know if
Okay.
it helps, but it doesn't hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and what you were saying earlier about you have the Zombie Road car. I've seen the photos. You bring it to conventions. That must be a huge draw for people.
Oh yeah, it is. It's a conversation starter. When I first started going to conventions, and young writers and even older writers probably know this too. If you don't have something at a convention to engage people, they just keep walking. You know what I mean? You're there, you're buy my book. I don't want to talk to you. They keep walking. But if you have something to engage them, like I have the car, so everybody they sit in it, they take pictures, and I have, I bring these prop guns they can take their pictures with, and it's something to draw people in. If you can start a conversation, you can try to sell a book. Um, you could also get a TV. It depends on how big your booth is. You can get a TV and run film, make some trailers for your books. Just something visual so people stop and look and hey, this is about this book. Make some cool trailers. You can do it on a laptop too if it's all you got. Just something to make people engage. And I'm not the
Yeah,
greatest salesman, but the car kind of sells the books.
Yeah, something to attract them, to get their attention. Now, you refurbished the car yourself, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm a car guy. man, I see your mic's muted. You having a coughing fit. Let me try to fill time here.
I'm sorry. I thought I'd unmuted it. I had two questions I wanted to ask. One,
yes, sir.
What is anything else coming with the Zombie Road universe?
Zombie Road. Okay. Video game in October is the first release at Megaverse. There's a 3-book series set after the last Zombie Road book. Well, no, it's not. It's actually set in the middle of the last Zombie Road book. Zombie Road 8 covers 100 years. There's a 3-book series coming out that is set in the middle of that 100 years that tells the story of some of the characters. That'll be coming out. I have to finish this book I'm working on. I got a solar flare book. I signed a contract with this outfit, and I owe them one more book, and those will be coming out. But that's not Zombie Road. That's a completely new set of characters. Exciting characters too. I mean, I really like these characters a lot. But as far as Zombie Road, there's 3 more books coming out for that. There's a fellow writing a book in the Zombie Road world, kind of like Wesley did with his one of his books, and the Feral Children. That's set in the Zombie Road world, and he helped write that. And there's some little things like that going on, but nothing major. No action figures or anything like that.
Okay.
Nothing cool.
Any more Zombie Road anthologies? I was lucky enough to get into one.
I was glad to have you in that, man. You made it a better book. I don't know, not that I'm, maybe we'll take something from the video game and make another coloring book. Because we made a Zombie Road coloring book out of all the pictures we had commissioned for the Zombie Road trailer. We shot a 2.5-minute trailer, professionally done, and we had storyboards and everything. And anyway, there's a coloring book that had the storyboards that we did and put in there. And maybe we'll do that with a video game too. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know, just something. We'll see.
Yeah, because I love the Zombie Road. When you wrote the 8th book and I finished reading it, was like, oh, nothing left. So, but I'll definitely pick up the 3. So the new project you're working on, you said it was Solar Flare?
Yes, sir. And it's different. I've read a bunch of solar flare books, just trying to make sure I didn't copy off somebody else. And this one's a 3-book series, and it's an EMP, and it's, I don't understand why everybody talks, I've read all these books, and some of them, there's no warning. All of a sudden everything just stopped working. And some of them, dude, I just read one recently where everything stopped working, but the dude ordered off Amazon, and the Amazon shipment came. So he had all this, survival gear. Okay. With mine, there's lightning storms, the Aurora Borealis, and it's all because of friction in the air and the lightning and the satellites falling out of the sky. That's why, and that's happening today, man. We're getting Elon Musk satellite Starlink, and there's always a danger of those falling out of the sky if there's even any kind of EMP, because they're so close. The air gets thicker. I don't want to get into all the science, but man, I did a lot of research, and in my series, lightning storms happening. Just freaking lightning storms, just nonstop for 20, 30, 40 hours while the cloud passes over, causes lightning and destruction. And, I like a good apocalypse, so there has to be lots of destruction and death and mayhem.
That sounds good. When are those books coming out?
I don't have a release date. They're through Aethon Publishing, and they said when they get the last book, because they don't want to have any mistakes, they're going to do a rapid release. And they said, when you get the last book, then we'll get a time frame going. So I have it's due at the end of August. I haven't even started on it yet.
I was just about to say, how far are you into it? So,
well, the other 2 books are finished, so my characters are already created, and I know where the story is going. I know how it ends. It's just I have to get there. I've got the outline, but I haven't sat down and started writing. And then,
do you have any plans for anything else after the Solar Flare series?
The 3 Zombie Roads, and I want to do an Appalachian noir, just because I live in the Appalachians now, I'm way up in the mountains, I don't know if y'all know this, but dude, there's the nearest blacktop road's like 7.5 miles away. I'm 45 minutes from the nearest store. There's nobody around. There's two people that live here within a mile. There's about 2 miles away. There's two people. That's it. We're up here by ourselves with bears and dude. There's armadillos up here. My cats are friendly with the armadillos. We had an armadillo in the yard the other day, and the cats run out. I'm like, oh my god, there's an armadillo. I've never seen that up in the mountains. And they go out, and one of them goes out and bats it, and the thing just kind of like, well, whatever, dude. And they just kind of hung out with each other for a few minutes while the armadillo ate bugs or whatever it is he was eating. It's funny.
See, I envy that. And, the farther I get away from civilization, the happier I am. So right now, I'm right outside of Salem. I'm right outside of Salem, New Hampshire, and it's just sort of like, oh my god, the traffic. Every time I go out, I understand that when I watched Falling Down years ago with Michael Douglas.
Michael Douglas, yeah.
When I was 20, it was like, this is a stupid movie. Now that I'm 60, it's like, yeah, I understand him. He's my hero.
Yeah, we've become the crotchety old men. Get off my grass.
Yes. Gray pride, So what other weird animals have you got out there? I'm sure raccoons.
Yeah, wild boar, bears. There's pretty good sized cats out here. I followed their tracks one day in the snow, man. There were some big paw prints, and they went for miles. It's like, man, how does it keep up the pace? Which was weird because you could see what they do. I followed these cats' paw prints. The big cat of like mountain. I don't know if it was a mountain lion or a big bobcat, but it went to every house and sat down the driveway and just looked at the house. Then it came back. I mean, it went to. There's a bunch of houses up here, but nobody lives here because they're just summer cottages, camping cabins. And it just went to every place and looked at it. And the bear does the same thing. The bear will come down our driveway. They're very habitual creatures. About 6 o'clock in the evening, it'll walk down the driveway. If we're not here, you can catch it on the cameras. If we're here, it goes around up through the woods. But it just makes this big circle. I mean, they're really habitual creatures. It's really neat learning that.
Are they looking for handouts?
We don't give it to them because I don't want to. Yeah, we lock our trash up and we don't leave food out. They tear the barbecue grill up every once in a while.
No, we had my old place. We had a bear that came around occasionally. Our biggest thing was 40 wild turkeys that used to roam the neighborhood, and there was just a gang of them. They'd come, they'd just strut up your driveway and like scare the dogs away, and then just walk through your front lawn and then go out the back. Yeah, I miss that stuff.
Dude, we had an angry grouse for a little while. You'd drive by and he'd block the road. You couldn't get by him. It's this dirt road, and you'd get out, shoo, get away, he'd whap, 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 go off in the woods. Then he'd get so mad he'd chase your car down the mountain for about a half mile before he'd give up. It happened for a week, man. Every time we went down the hills, like this stupid grouse would chase the car.
Yeah, no, I miss those old towns. Like my dogs used to break away all the time. And one day the police called me and said, "Are you home?" I said, "Yeah, my wife is." Why? He goes, "Yeah, I got your dogs." And I called her and she looked out the window and sure enough, the police car was coming up the driveway and the dogs were following it. So is there anything else you want to tell us about upcoming projects? Any advice you want to give us about going from writing to screenwriting, or for the new authors out there, for the men and women who are like sitting down the first time? Any advice you want to give them?
Man, write the books. I guess, Scott, you probably have the same advice, man. It's get a handful of books out before you really start trying to market, because if you buy ads or even get postcards made or anything that you spend money on, if you only have one book, you're not going to make any money. They got to buy books 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like you have, man, you got a bunch of books out. How many do you have out total already?
Ah, God, I haven't checked in a while. It's about 30 between the novels and the novellas.
Wow, dude. That's impressive.
Thank you. Well, it was funny because
That's impressive.
when COVID hit, I had nothing to do. I'm retired. I live at home. I write. Nobody was going anywhere. I didn't have to take my daughter to school. I didn't have to take her to practices. You know, my wife was a nurse. She'd go off, do her stuff, come back. So I just went out with the laptop, a cigar, an iced coffee, the dogs. And then when COVID was over, I did my first convention. And as I'm putting up the books, I'm thinking to myself, holy crap, I really did a lot of writing those 2 years.
Wow. Man. Yeah, I'm way behind the curve on you there, man.
Yeah, but you also got a
I've
lot
been
of
building this house for the past year.
Yeah, well, you've got a lot
Yeah,
on your plate.
I almost missed our meeting today. I was down at the barn. I lost track of time, man. I'm trying to get this barn built so I can get my car in there, which is in pieces. It's in the storage unit because I have a race coming up in 5 October, November, maybe it's September. Nobody knows about this race. And the car's in pieces, man. I don't even have a barn to build it in. So I've been really hustling trying to get things together. And I don't know if you've heard the saws or going anything in the background. It's my wife. She's down there putting in flooring downstairs. So we just have plywood right now. She's putting down hardwood flooring.
Now, I want to ask a question. I know the answer to it, but for those who are out there thinking of writing, how easy was it? I mean, you can tell reading the Zombie Road series, especially the first 4 or 5, you were a truck driver. You know, is there any trick to taking what you know, whether you're a nurse, truck driver, military, and converting it into a novel?
No, they say write what you know, so it's easier, I think. Don't overload the. I mean, truck driving's cool and everything, and you got some neat lingo, and everybody has a cool name, which was, and they talk on the CB, and there's a few different things about truck drivers that are cool, but I say whatever your job is, don't overload the people with information, because I've read books like that too, where the guy really is knowledgeable about what he's talking about in this, whatever his career path was. But you know what, give me an action story. I don't really care about the minutia of how you get an RN license or whatever. Just, don't make it boring, I guess.
All right, David, it's almost, the hour's almost up. Is there anything else you wanted to say? Anything you wanted to add?
No, sir. I don't want to come off sounding like I'm a know-it-all, but just writing is easy compared to marketing, and marketing is, if nobody, you can have the greatest book in the world, but if nobody knows it's out there, it's not going to sell. So you really marketing is a gig you got to really figure out. And it's not just advertising. I've done paid advertising one time, and I've sold, I don't know. I mean, I stopped counting at 100,000. That was a year or so ago. And I've sold a lot of books, and I don't pay for advertising. It's all this unusual kind of advertising that I do. So I don't know, maybe I don't know about Facebook ads or Amazon ads or any of that stuff. I've never done them.
I tried them once or twice, and excuse me, they didn't work. Well, David, you are a lot of writers look up to you because you had a great series, really popular. It's well written, great characters, and I mean, as you were saying, there's a lot of luck involved, but the luck wouldn't be there if the books weren't good. You're taking a path a lot of us hope for every night. So, anyways, wrapping up.
Man,
No, go ahead.
Showing up, you might know the phrase, man. 90% of success is just showing up. Is that?
Yeah.
You heard that? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's true. go to the conventions. You might not sell, you might not make table. Hell, I don't think I've ever made table. Once or twice. It cost me money to go to a convention. I'm out $180 or whatever. I don't sell enough books, with the hotels and the food and everything. But
Exactly.
you show up. You show up. And people actually look for you there. Hey man, I bought your book last year. I'm glad you're here. I want the rest of them. I want them all autographed. I've had that happen a few times, which is cool.
Well, as an example, I live in New Hampshire. I went down to the Monroe Mall in Pennsylvania for the Living Dead weekend. I had two people, one from New Hampshire who came for the event and also came to stop by my table to say hi and get me to sign some of her books. So it just takes to the writers out there, you're not going to write Twilight. You're not going to be a multimillionaire overnight. You're not going to write 50 Shades of Grey, and if you're lucky, you are. But, if you make enough money to survive, you're doing good. Oh, so David, since we're broadcasting, we don't have any live questions. If anybody has any questions, can they reach out to you?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Facebook, David Simpson Fan Club on Facebook. That's, I check that every day. I'm not real active on it. I should be. I'm bad about that. Whatever. Yeah, David Simpson Fan Club, man. Or you could message me. I don't, if you have any specific questions, I can try to answer. But dude, just write the books, get them out there. Have a good editor. That's kind of important.
Yes. And any other social media they can find you on?
No, man, I don't have Twitter. I've got Instagram, Zombie Road Official. I'll if you want to see pictures of the Mustang, there's a lot of pictures of the Mustang on there. And oh, dude, there is one thing. God, she's gonna kill me for this. They're doing a Madness and Riders is a television series, and they write about, and they're doing interviews with all these writers about madness, what it takes to be a writer, and how a lot of them are mad, in some kind of a way. And it's a television show, and they're going to come out here and film some stuff out here this fall, which will be cool.
Oh, what channel is that run
on? They haven't released the first episode yet. I mean, they filmed a bunch of them. It's called Madness and Riders. And man, it's on YouTube, and just they're advertising. They were at the Bram Stoker convention and released the new trailer, which I haven't seen yet. I need to watch that. That's gonna be fun. They're gonna come out here. They're actually gonna come out here to the cabin and do the interviews out here.
Lucky you.
So
well, let me know because when it's broadcast, I'll definitely promote it on my page.
Cool, thank you.
Okay. Well, David, it was a pleasure having you on. I've been looking forward to getting you on this show for a long time. Thank you for taking the time. Again, dude, love your series, Zombie Road. If you like zombies, you got to read this book. It's one of my favorite zombie series, and I read all of them. So thank you all. If you enjoyed the show, like and subscribe, and we'll be back in 2 weeks with another guest. Take it easy. David, do you have anything last you want to say?
Nah, that's it, man. Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right. Ciao, everyone. See you later.